Data Blast, like, hurting some monkeys a lot, getting stunned up.
Oh, it's a tri-lane now. Apparently the creeps bleed blue. Z-Freak did arrow one of the big amps mid. Now he's moving over towards bottom. He could potentially set something up here. Arteezy's low. Zai fairly low. They're pretty much out of mana, though. Zai could clarity up, and he's going to start that. Z-Freak moving in. Does get hit by the Satyr again. Man, this thing really hates complexity, does it not? They move in, looking for a bash follow-up. He'll get it, too. Creep still blocking the path. Z-Freak patiently waiting. Not going to go in the end, but he will pressure the lane. He will then kill that pesky Satyr. I think it's running out of mana at this point. But will get himself some gold, some experience, and this is a good way to pressure the Sven as well. Limit stacks.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely very good for them to move that too. And now Spirit Breaker even pulls the side camp, so denying him farm from Arteezy there, but he's going to walk over and just kind of hit it a bit. But yeah, Z-Freak just kind of be running around the map all over the place. Now he's going to move toward the mid lane. sumail pretty much can't really use Blade Fury in an aggressive position to put the lane out, just because of the potential of them being able to turn on him. Top lane. Crit, under some pressure.
Making a dive, but this is a tanky lane, and you already see the point in Drunken Haze. Deal with moves, auto attack, harass a little bit. This is a nice way to deal with Geminate. A big wave, that's a lot of experience coming in for Universe.
Yeah, Crit does the smart thing too. He leaves the lane just to give Universe as much as possible, because it's a Panda. Panda needs a pretty decent start in this type of event, just because of the nature of the hero. You need to get your levels, you need to get your 6 as early as possible. Getting a lot of pressure though by Moo, just getting right-clicked heavily. Who does have a Shukuchi and some bugs, but he doesn't have the Geminate attack to get those double attacks on him.
Yeah, I don't know how useful it is against all this evasion. It's certainly not over the Shukuchi.
Yeah, I think this is probably the better approach by Crit. Just follow Z-Freak around, make sure he's not able to do these like clean rotations. Just mess with him a bit.
They're leeching a lot of experience. It's going to be 3 heroes emerging into this lane rather quickly, but Zai getting forced back. Bullied by the auto attacks of Z-Freak, who went for the early boots. He does leap out. Really good timing there. Now going to follow up with the arrow. Nails Arteezy, but Ogre arrives, and all of a sudden it's Monkeys who wants to run. He gets pretty tanky, but the blocks are there from Crit. Monkeys in danger. Into the trees he goes. He'll have a charge fairly soon, but the move speed a little bit more. No, it's the living armor to save the day. He charges out past the wave to the rage creep, up and out of there.
They've got a stun.
They still have the stun, and with that, one more auto attack. The arrow just a bit too late. Almost made it out. A big commitment, but they do get the first blood on the Spirit Breaker.
A little bit over-aggressive there, but with the tree armor, I guess they thought they might be able to make something happen with it. But yeah, nice rotation there from Crit, following Z-Freak around as he should be.
Good thing is for sumail, whenever he sees that action, he can immediately Blade Fury mid.
Yep.
So he gets some extra farm. He's right there with Cancel on the OD, doing much better in CS this game.
Yeah, for sure. The one good thing for EG2 is that, or another good thing for EG is that they're obviously able to constantly Drunken Haze up on Moo, so it does mess with his last hitting a bit, so he is under the pressure a little bit on that. He is falling up slightly behind the Sven with already 27 on Arteezy. Doing very well.
Cancel getting chafed here, because his rune will be tied. Charge back to that bottom lane, but Arteezy relatively unmolested here, is getting a lot more farm now after that initial engagement. We'll see Crit deny himself for the free fountain trip, but the stack gets cleared up. And Sven free farming. Juggernaut doing well mid. Brew getting a lot out of the off lane. So far, haven't seen the big impact from the roaming Mirana. The living armor didn't save complexity from giving up a first blood. And overall, Yannis, EG just so far winning these lanes.
Yep. Weaver is gonna they don't really have like the greatest amount of lockdown for the Weaver into the later stages though, so he should be able to do pretty well. But that's the big thing where it comes down to having that feel, having the sentry wards, having dust especially to be able to take him down in those situations where he is in the fights.
And so I was wondering about the build for University. He's gonna grab the Iron Talon, and it looks like we'll still be maxing out the clap. Just went for the early value points in Drunken Haze and the evasion, but. Has that plan B to go to the jungle? He's getting a lot out of the offlane. Already nice. 5.
Level 5, 17 CS. Like, Crit's movement there in the beginning was great, and then now just following around Z-Freak is working out very well for them. But this looks like it's going to be a much slower game than the last. Last time it was like 10 minutes in, 20 kills. This one, we're going to have a much slower dictated game. Game 3.
And surely slower favors EG with the ability of Sven, the farm, the supports giving so many buffs, and more importantly, just like playstyle-wise. You look at where EG's done best, they just get to farm for 20, 30 minutes, get a huge gold advantage before they fight.
I mean, once they have like their obvious the standard Sven items, the Dominator, the Deco Saber, the Blink, the BKB, that's where it becomes like super devastating for coL to fight because they're very emphasized on magic damage with the OD. Weaver doesn't really dish out the most bottom lane.
coL coming in from behind. No one expects the OD, but Arteezy there to tank the arrow. Unfortunately, maybe he ends up going down instead, gets off the stun. Zai will most likely end up falling. One extra orb gets the kill. Easy tried to take a bullet, but President can't take bullets for the Secret Service. That's not how that works. He survives, and he will walk away.
Give sumail some more space to pull ahead of the OD in the lane, so coL making that movement does let him kill, but definitely slows down his farm rate compared to sumail.
z3 continues his movement twixt the lanes. Maybe gonna look for an arrow here. There was a Blade Fury commitment. Zai now gonna be scouted out momentarily mid. Swindle's also there. The Omni Slash comes through, but the Living Armor combined with the fact that sumail, the last bounce doesn't go to the OD, will be enough to save him, just barely. And now they can sweep in from behind. Charge coming in hot and heavy. Monkey's pushing sumail back into power range. He's gonna take 2 extra auto attacks. Doesn't get the follow-up Ash, which would have been needed for the kill.
So close to 6 on Monkeys too. If he was 6 there, that would have been a free kill, 100%. But yep.
Just barely
Very
not
close.
going their way. And all the while, Arteezy just free farming. So you've got Jug, Sven atop the net worth. They have started stacking Ancients. He is going max cleave, already has it. Dominator likely coming next. And we are going to see Bloodlust being leveled up. Points in that, not even bothering with the Fire Blast this game so far.
Yeah, lane's definitely going good favor and good margin into EG. Now crit even stacking again already, so even pre-Dominator they're emphasizing heavily on having the Ancient stacked up for Arteezy. So he's already level 7, he's got the Dominator finished up too, but he'll already have a triple Ancient stack for himself. And Zai will be keen on stacking up some more neutrals while he kind of tries to do the same thing, the small camp.
How urgent is it for Complexity to fight? Are there certain things they should be waiting for before they get aggressive here in Fogged, or do you feel like they need to just start going right away and contest this?
I think it's really hard for them to fight is the problem. Like, I think the only way that they really want to get fights is if the Spirit Breaker is able to kind of isolate people with the charge into an ultimate. Because if they try to take like a 5v5 engagement or something like that versus EG, they have Panda Split already. Super hard for them really to be able to pressure towers as well with only like a Weaver able to really be in the line to be able to hit anything. But Spirit Breaker is a frontline hero, but you know, if he's showing on the map, there's no gank potential.
sumail getting very aggressive here, spinning right in. He has the healing ward, the tether from Zai, confident that he can take this fight, but Monkeys is going to TP and look for the charge. The Nether String as well, all of this commitment onto sumail, but he survives through it all. Arteezy's going to come in, look to turn this thing around, has the God Strength ready, goes to work, Monkeys forever. Again, they're able to use the Moonlight Shadow to get out of here. EG, just no detection for the time being. He charges forward once more onto sumail with the Swarm even there, affecting him, but it won't matter. They lose their OD. The arrow comes in from z3. Leap, Starfall, barely doing any damage. It's not enough. The evasion. Finally, they get the kill on Universe, but at what cost as the turnaround comes from that big old sword and transitions immediately into the Ancients. But now, God Strength is worn off, so I guess indirectly they slow down Arteezy's farm, but a bloody mess there. 2 for 2, did not get off the Bruce split.
Yeah, they didn't even need it. That was like a nice collapse there by Arteezy for sure, running to the mid lane. I think he just wanted to like make the move to be able to fight his Ancients too, but it was just like, oh, they're fighting mid.
Great, I'll farm heroes and then I'll farm Ancients.
Yep.
How
so,
efficient.
First Spirit Breaker ulti used does not really net them a big kill. It does get the Wisp, and it does end up bringing down Universe later on, but that wasn't too thankful, just like kind of forcing the engagement there. Because Moo wasn't actually able to really get too involved in there, because he's just kind of chilling in the top lane.
So 3-3 the score, 10 minutes, but EG with a pretty substantial lead. 2,000 gold, nearly 1,000 experience, and given the hero compositions, you know if it remains just a farm battle, EG are just going to pull ahead by nature of cleave, all the attack speed buffs they have, their emphasis on stacking, the early Dominator, so Complexity obviously going to recognize this. We'll see Cancel going into an early Drums build this game. I imagine the Weaver not going to go for any big late game items, and most likely we will see them trying to take these early fights, but as you said, into Bruce split, that is a tall order.
Yeah, very hard for the Weaver to really get involved into this, especially if anyone's carrying Reveal on the side of EG, and they are this time now. So they have the Dust up on the Ogre, and now Cancel. sumail's trying to bait an Astral, he does, and this could be the go time for EG. They have
look at that recognition by Cancel, up and away to the top ramp.
Instant reaction.
Beautifully played.
Yep. Swindle now getting his timing there. He sees like the movement there by EG. Goes up and puts 2 very aggressive wards on the side of the Ancients, just able to watch whenever Arteezy's walking to the Ancients, whenever he's making any move toward there, even blocking the Ancients too with the Sentry on top. But EG, they see the opportunity to just push the towers down with their massive 5 men with Bloodlust, Tether, and Healing Ward whenever they want to use it.
Uh-oh.
Z-Freak.
Z-Freak, a rare whiff there on the pounce. He is going to try to go in biz. They spin onto him, removing the living armor. He will be banished, thus committed through this, but I believe Mirana might have a chance. No, never mind that. Just going to get the Starfall off. We'll go down. G now being pursued. The bugs come through. Will there be follow-up move committing on Design? Really wants to bring him down. Good overgrowth, but where's the combo? They need the OD to come in and drop the hammer. He doesn't have much stolen in. Very ineffective fight. And now the Bruce split, looking for another level. Spell that tornado. Stun follow from Arteezy. Likely another kill. 2 will drop in EG. Just plunging forward down the mid lane. This is the downside to the support picks here for Complexity is they just don't have much team fight damage, Giannis, especially if Mirana dies like that.
Yeah, they really need to, like, the only way they really get, like, a full team fight is just, like, getting a massive overgrowth when Cancel already has, like, a good amount stolen with the Arcane Orb, but it's very hard for them to fight into EG's lineup. They need to just kind of, like, split up the map and find pickoffs with the Spirit Breaker until they find, like, a couple items, but like you mentioned, they don't really have any heroes that can flash farm like EG does, so it puts them under the gun quite a bit.
Moo even grabbing the Ogre Club here early on the Weaver.
Going for that Dragonlance nice and early, but...
Yeah, a very combat-focused builds for all the coL heroes. No Midas on the OD. I mean, Mirana's a support. We're not going to see an early eggs.
A move that we see so often now. Moo goes to the bottom lane, and Arteezy's like, oh, you're in my safe lane, I go to yours. You know, we keep emphasizing, we see it so often now, and it's something that keeps happening.
And Cancel shoves in the mid lane. He's going to jaunt on towards bottom. They did get some good wards down for Complexity. In theory, you'd think this could enable some charge ganks, but the issue is you charge and you go for that gank. You're doing it into an IO relocate unless you gank the IO itself, so...
I think these wards dictate a lot, though, from how Complexity's feeling. They just feel very pressured to kind of just keep an eye on what EG's doing all the time. EG now finally makes the move up and puts in an offensive ward in the enemy jungle, just to be able to claim the tower top and put some more needed pressure. Because they just can. They can fight pretty easily at this point. Panda Split's going to be coming up in the next 30 seconds. They've got Sven Ultimate, they've got Omni Slash, they've got everything they really need. But Complexity looks like they want to fight this. The charge is coming in onto Zai.
Charge is coming. They could go for the TP Overgrowth Living Armor on the tower to keep it alive. Monkey's now in the trees, but they saw it and they ping him out. Arteezy with the Hill Ward had some vision of it coming. Sumail's going to surge his way forward. They look to engage here. Complexity getting hesitant, and while they hesitate, EG seizing the moment, but there's the Overgrowth. Will there be follow-up? Swindle's focus brought down first. The charge comes through. It's a 4-hero pile-up with the Swarm, but do they have the damage? The War Cry making everyone very tanky. Even an arrow under Arteezy. Can they focus him down? Zai is there trying to save him. The relocate a bit too late. They will lose their Sven. They're likely to lose Crit as well. This is the kind of fight that Complexity wanted. This is the kind of fight they needed. Universe now being charged, goes for the clap, doesn't have mana for the split. The arrow's gonna connect. Z-Freak slams it home, make it 3, it could be 4, as Zai rejoins the fight. Complexity, a huge win for them already, and make it 4-hero pile up indeed. They'll find all the kills. It was so close to going differently. Almost got the relocate save, almost got the Bruce split off, but none of it happened.
Yeah, they weren't able to get this Panda split off. They weren't able to really get anything off from Arteezy. Beautiful arrows coming in from Z-Freak, just pretty much winning the fight for them single-handedly because of that. Monkeys as well, acting as that frontliner, charging through, getting 4 heroes into the bash after the charge after the overgrowth. So very nice teamwork coming out for Complexity. But EG, they still have that Panda split. They still have this Falcon ultimate. They want to fight.
They move on to Z-Freak first and foremost, but he manages to leap away. The banish though almost helping as EG will get to reset around him. They begin to engage. Monkeys though with a good charge through. The living armor making the difference, keeps him alive. Arteezy, well, already the Brewmaster down, and he's not able to hit anyone, even though he's empowered with the God Strength. They can reset here after the banish. Z-Freak, arrow down. Sumail will Blade Fury, but that could allow for a big one. Will he find the angle? They're going to banish. Not the perfect teamwork, but if the arrow connects, likely a kill. There is no relocate save. Sumail being focused down. Moo will get the kill. Now they're bashing Arteezy back with the Nether Strike. Orbs coming in. Complexity is heating up on Design next. Mauling the ball of light. They'll kill him off 2. First it was 4, and this time it's gonna be 5. An ultra for Moo. Complexity steamrolling forward from the depths of despair, down 0-1 and 12k gold into game 2. All of a sudden, they've got EG on the ropes.
These like, arrows and these charges into arrows is just crushing EG. They're not able to get their ultimates off in the fight. Like, this is Z-Freak's actually like having like such a big impact with just like these arrows.
Are you surprised to see EG trying so hard to take fights, given that they could, in theory, step back to farming, just look to take it late.
I think with their first emphasis that they wanted to push this top tower, because they're playing versus a Treant Protector, they're like, okay, if we're gonna try to if we're gonna put pressure on towers, we need to take it in one shot. They missed it the first opportunity, and they're like, it seemed like they almost felt obligated to go for it again. We're gonna take a look at the replay and see what happened. The charge obviously gets canceled because of the Astral, but Astral into Arrow gets crushed. Arteezy tries to go in, but he doesn't have God Strength. Instant ultimate by Monkey Forever brings him down. Zai, easy chase up. I am actually loving this drum pickup by cancel, enabling his team to have even more movement speed on top of the...
Oh, bash? No bash. Oh, man.
The drum with the empowering haste, with the leap as well, they have actually so much increased movement speed, increased attack speed as well. It's giving them a lot in these team fights on top of EG, who aren't really able to get their ultimates or anything off in a proper manner. Universe really struggling to find his farm to get this Blink Dagger so he can get the proper initiations.
What are you looking at in total? It's almost 30 move speed per hero when they activate the drum charge. It's a lot. So you can't really disengage very easily against Complexity, especially if relocates on cooldown. Yeah,
this is where EG definitely feels like a little bit of pressure. They want to go back a bit and farm. Arteezy under the vision of a ward though. He even used God Strength to farm up the neutrals.
If Complexity could just take this tower down mid with the aggressive wards they have, they can start to threaten the Ancient stacks. The pings are actually coming out already from Z-Freak. And by the way, Z-Freak, after that fight, Aghanim's is coming.
Yeah.
So where Complexity was lacking damage, not going to be a problem for long. See him move on to sumail here. Relocate still cooling down. 15 seconds on that. He's got to be careful. Blade Fury won't save you against Spirit Breaker.
He's going in.
Coming in hot, sumail, in a lot of trouble now, doesn't even get off the spin. Getting focused down by the OD, Nether Strike, easy kill. Complexity continue to roll.
EG is not able to find the fights on their factor. They're just not able to really get Brewmaster ulti off. They're getting split up too heavily by Complexity. They're trying now. Now they're going back to their reserve motion. They're like, okay, triple stack Ancients. We need Arteezy just to be able to farm, push out top, push out the lanes as much as possible. We need to slow the pace of the game down just a little bit, just because of how great Complexity's team fighting has been so far.
There's still no blink on the Brew, mind you. Universe was at 1,500 gold before that first fight, and then they lost 2 fights in a row, and even now, 4 or 5 minutes later, still does not have the blink. Had a good start in the off-lane, was getting quite a bit of farm with an Iron Talon, but they have shut him down successfully since then. And where EG's chip damage amounts to nothing against the tree, Complexity's guaranteed damage on towers that can't be mitigated or reversed.
Unhealable damage.
Oh yeah, the best guy.
Yeah, they do have very aggressive wards. Complexity in position to fight here, but EG does have all 5 heroes. It's really all up to how if the Brew is able to get these good splits, but yeah, Complexity has the vision of them. They see sumail farming.
You can just see Monkeys. You can see that look of bloodlust in his eyes. Cow wants to go in.
Oh, I lost vision for a second.
Oh, poor Cow. This will buy time though. Arteezy, sorry, gonna get the blink. And with the blink, there is a little more just insta-kill potential here to blow someone up immediately before they get living armored, walk away with Moonlight Shadow. Speaking of which, they do have Dust and Sentries on 2 heroes, so definitely respecting the Moonlight Shadow a bit more now.
Yep. More aggressive wards coming out for Complexity, and I thought Monkeys was actually going to go for a BKB, but he's feeling very confident. The way that they're winning these fights so handily, he's going to be going for that Echo Saber. So he's going to be a very scaling Spirit Breaker on top of a very scaling support Mirana, who's gone support Mirana, I say, but he's got an Aghanims in about 400 gold.
Yeah, and he can transition into a carry role at that point. That's where Z-Freak can start flash farming, keep the lanes shoved out, and against 4 melee heroes and an IO, that Starstorm is pretty much guaranteed to hit at least 2-3 targets. As an unfortunate charge from Monkeys. Swindles will have to overgrowth and disengage.
Sick play by Swindles there. It seems like he kind of knew that the smoke was coming out for EG. He Nature's Guises, walks over, breaks the smoke. EG panic, throws down 2 sentries, kind of expecting him there. Don't find him. He even puts a sentry now on the high ground, and EG puts an Obs ward right on top of it, so it's going to get instantly dewarded.
Oh, they're coming in. They're streaming in to look for a fight here. Moo, Sakuchi forward, trying to engage. Out in front is Swindles. He's going to get caught by Arteezy. Has the living armor going, though. There's the Spirit Breaker charge. Connects on 3. Now backing away. Crit down in the pit, trying to get someone at least a Bloodlust. Pops the dust off. Don't even think it clipped Moo. Actually, it did, but no one there to follow that dust up. And now Crit down in the river with OD starting to move in. The window is about to close with Z-Freak getting this Aghanim Scepter. They're going to be in a lot of trouble. God, it would be great to kill him now. He is going to leap away. He has a TP, but they get onto him. 15 gold short. The Astral might buy him the time to get the Aghanim Scepter. It's going to be close, Z-Freak. 5 gold. He doesn't even bother to buy the components. The living armor? No, not enough. He will end up going down. The hammer gets dropped, though. And now cancel looks for the fight. Focusing on Zai. The Blade Fury's there as well. They commit split. They brought the 2. Buyback on the Mirana. He only has 1 component and 900 gold to go now. And Moo, Jade Stud focused down during God's Faith. A chaotic fight from Complexity. Starstorm will kill off Zai, but that's it. After the buyback in Z-Freak, it could be a dieback with the clap coming in. They're going to commit a lot to kill up this Mirana, where he basically had an Ags. We're now looking at him being set back a full 3 to 4 minutes with that death. Well, yeah, double death.
Look at the emphasis on sentries. You know, last game we were mentioning, you know, they didn't really have too much reveal to fight into Complexity's lineup. This time, they're ready. They know the mistakes they made the last time. 3 sentries placed down near this ancient camp, even with an obs ward on top. Very good fight. Look, finally, you see what happens when they actually are able to get the fight on their terms. They're able to get the Panda split off. It completely changes the way the fight is dated. OD gets a beautiful ultimate on top of everybody, but it wasn't enough on top of the healing ward, on top of the Wisp tethered to somebody.
Yeah, and the positioning in that fight with just the giant clump of heroes up in a tight choke point meant they couldn't really get to the healing ward to snipe it. Not to mention with the Bruce split, it's kind of hard to see it.
It was kind of just a mess. That was it really was just a mess of a fight. Moo couldn't really do anything either. He walks in and just gets bursted down instantly. Gonna be a bit harder for them to kill him once he does finish up this Linken's, but he's 1,400 gold away from that, so won't see that for another 4 minutes or so.
All right, well, back to farming. RTZ wailing away at Ancients here. They still do have their tier 1 top. That's the good news. And Z-Freak's like, yeah, I'm just gonna be AFK farming here for a while now, guys. I've got some catching up to do. Yeah, that dieback, really costly mistake for Complexity.
Yeah, that fight really hurts them there.
I mean, it's one thing that he dies there, but then buying back and dying again is just devastating.
EG looking to claim some more map control, going for this top tier 1. Trying to get more access points into the enemy jungle as well to be able to have more places to farm. Because their jungle is not really the safest place, so they want to be able to they want access to be able to farm in Complexity's jungle for sure. Just to boost themselves.
So we're going to see the Hurricane Pike for OD. Echo Saber now completed on Monkeys. The Weaver build, still Linken's for Moo, which, by the way, also got delayed. And they're going to win the Roshamp hit, but there's a creep here for Arteezy, so it's immediately scouted out. They're going to kill that pesky Mud Golem off. I don't think they can really Rosh in time. The split's up.
They're going. They've got the Beetles.
An EG smoke. They're going to Warcry instantly. It should cool down by the time they get to the pit. And they sprint on with Bloodlust.
Doesn't look like they're going to make it, though. It's dying really fast with Arcane Orb, with the minus armor coming from the Swarm.
OD still a pretty damn good hero.
Yeah.
And Z-Freak in position. He's got the Ags now. Could set this one up with an arrow. Roshan complete. EG still storming in. They've got the high ground advantage. Moonlight Shadow committed. Blink into the pit. Arteezy off the mark with that one. Do they look for the turnaround now? Blade Fury early by Sumail. He's getting hesitant. Charge gets canceled. Everybody getting cold feet in this fight as the stun goes out onto cancel. But remember, he's the Aegis bearer. Arrow committed. It hits crit. Is that the best target? Not really sure about that. Monkeys forever is being focused down. Sumail will kill him off with Bloodlust auto text. Now the Overgrowth Swindles trying to negate the Brewmaster split as much as possible. Z-Freak could be the secret damage dealer. Cancel will have a second life to work with, but they're hounding this Mirana out of the pitch. He leaps up and away. This isolates in turn Cancel as they continue pursuit. Sumail's starting to work on him. They commit a Dust. Now that's just the Aegis. Now they got to kill him off again, but they're down 2, make it 3 as he comes back. They'll try to re-engage. All the cores are alive though and move on the chase. Z-Freak, leap cooling down. They can chase this. Hammer gets dropped. Look for a bit more. Warcry and a scramble back as Arteezy gets scouted out by the pesky little bug. They isolate him. They're going to follow this up with an arrow. They'll kill him off 2. Arteezy dead as well. That's 3. They did up the Aegis. They get 2 supports, but they hemorrhage quite a few kills in their own right.
Yeah, the nice thing there for Complexity is definitely like having the Aegis there. Moon now finishing up the Linken's going to give them a lot more potential there. But whenever it seems like they get Monkeys in a bad position, it's like when it looks like the fight's going to be going in EG's factor. The reason Complexity wins is obviously because of the Aegis, but yeah, like EG's just like with Panda split up, it makes their fight look obviously so much better. And now the next stage is going to be Arteezy getting his BKB so he doesn't get kited in such hard manner.
Yeah, the Treant is a big part of why the Spirit Breaker is such a pain as well. It gets the living armor, the Overgrowth disrupts the Brewmaster split quite a bit. And even those few seconds to reset, not to mention the astral time lapse, like, they have a lot of tools to drag out fights, whereas EG, they have that one big bang, right? They have the God Strength, the Blink and Echo Saber, double attack, Omni Slash, one Bruise Split, maybe one Relocate Save. They're more about like that one explosive start to the fight, but yeah, Complexity is seeming like they're just able to outlast EG.
It was definitely a really good, very good overgrowth place by Swindles, grabbing all the pandas. Universe was a bit late to purge it off. He wasn't even able to really throw anyone relevant up in the air in the middle of the team for like throwing up the OD and then taking out everybody else or anything.
And that's all
right.
Even if you do purge it off, like just a few seconds wasted, that's huge in these fights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Considering, especially cooldowns, overgrowth only 70 seconds, Brewmaster split a whopping 120 now. It'll get down to 100, but it's still a pretty long cooldown in comparison.
Yep.
Well, back and forth game. It's looking more and more like a true quad core here on Complexity with the items they've gone for. But EG with the higher top farmers, who are you favoring, Fog, as we go later?
It's really dependent on how the initiation comes. It's a very close game. It's a very clean, very close draft as well. Like Z-Freak, pretty much like the secret Zen factor for Complexity kind of in this way because of how farmed he really is. Aghanim's already getting toward that Blink level 14 on the support Mirana. So he's going to be able to dish out a lot of damage in the backline, take out the supports for sure if he's able to find that positioning with this Blink.
Oh, RTZ does have the BKB, but the
cancel with the
sneaky
wraparound
move by Cancel. And Viz coming in from behind. Has to be careful about sentries because they do have the Mirana, so EG might have planted some down. There is one, but it's kind of close to the tower.
Oh, they see
Cancel now. Getting revealed, he's going to self-banish. The team has to scramble to back him up. They will have an overgrowth. They can try. The Hurricane pikes himself backwards towards safety, but doesn't quite get over the tree line where an Omni Slash isolates him together with the multicast. He's down very early in the fight. BKB by RTZ, the overgrowth there. Arrow pierces the heart of Zai, will bring him down. And now EG starting to work with RTZ there, but he's getting kited a bit. The Starstorm's coming in hotter and heavier as RTZ has to turn tail and run. Crit also, for dear life, trying to limp away. Tree even hitting that Ogre. Not very effective at this stage with the armor he has, but they do successfully hang on.
Force a buyback.
Force buyback. So it's a 1-for-1 carry trade. The Mirana also dying kind of makes it a 2-for-1, but with the buyback, EG do win the fight. But with that said, we're going to see a long period where no Panda split, no Omni Slash available.
Yeah, Cancel had a great positioning to get the wraparound there from them, but breaking his invis, they instantly reacted. They get everything off on him. Omni Slash completely isolates him, brings him down right away in the fight. Pretty much every single time EG is able to get all their ultimates off, it goes slightly into their, it goes just a bit into their favor. At least, of course, Complexity has that Aegis online, but now with that buyback, they're able to get some pressure on this tier 2. So slight little swing of momentum into Complexity's favor, and Moo's getting some much-needed farm. He's surviving throughout all these engagements, so now he's got the Linkage, he's got Dragonlance, another 2,100 gold on him.
And Weaver really is a problem if you can't burst him. They don't have a reliable silence. There's no hugely long-duration stuns. And the later the game goes, the less and less likely it is that they're going to be able to chain stun him, especially with all the saves that Complexity have.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be like, can they survive in just like with the healing ward, with when Panda gets like his aura items, when he gets the blast, if he ever gets to that point of like an AC, which will probably be very, very long down the lines. We probably won't see that one, but are they able to survive throughout the time, be able to dish out enough damage and then leave this Weaver isolated? I think it's really important of them to be able to bring down Cancel and to bring down the Spirit Breakers early on in these fights.
All right, 29 minutes in. Complexity hanging on to a lead here. About 4K gold, around 8K experience. They trailed early this series, but they have battled back. Tooth, claw, and nail, and now find themselves not in firm control, but with a decent grasp on the game.
Ooh, I like this pickup by Moo. Goes for his own defusal. This is something we saw, I don't know if it was Wings or, I think it might have been Wings on like a Drow Ranger, I believe, or maybe Resolution on from DC. He picks up the defusal to be able to purge off the Warcry from the Sven and be able to kite him out much easier. So it's actually a really cool item. Like, it doesn't really give him the most damage potential just based off that one item, but being able to do that, being able to kite in that better manner is very important.
Also removes the Bloodlust, right?
Yes, and the Bloodlust.
Yeah. So with that, even though Sven will still have God Strength, you can't really kite him. You can also purge the Drunken Haze off yourself. So quite a nice utility item.
Yeah. Ghost Scepters later on if it ever gets to that point too. Don't think it will, but well, don't think it will for a while, at least for Zai, because he's looking very broke.
Be careful what you think.
Right. Last time that's what we said, right?
Moo. Oh, that's actually a pretty big spell. Stormbolt gets committed. Teasy with the little back, now back onto the tower, trying to focus it down. Z-Freak's there with the Starstorm.
2 towers though for
Doesn't
EG.
want to overcommit though.
very quick, easy 2 towers. Like, they were struggling a lot to just get towers down versus Complexity lineup. Complexity was very keen on not really letting them do that, but yeah, EG with some nice, great wards and just instantly 5-manning those 2 towers, get it.
I mean, it's what they were trying to do top earlier when you pointed it out, that like you can't half commit to a tower versus tree. It's either all in or you don't bother. So, Moo will grab a DD now on the Weaver. And EG 5-manning for the most part around their jungle. Don't want to get spread out. They have their Vlads. They also have the Crystallis now.
Curious to see if he's going to finish up the Daedalus or if he goes for this like Bloodthorn build that we've seen some people do. Because he is versus an OD, so it obviously silences him through the so he can't Arc Ignore before he has a BKB on him. And it's also extremely good versus the Weaver. I want to see which one he prefers is better because, you know, sometimes it's like you want to get the burst potential from the double crits from your Echo Saber Daedalus, but at the same time too, it gives you this like later progression.
It's also a good way to potentially catch out the Weaver. If the linkage is down, maybe later on he's Diffusal's on cooldown. Could be another useful tool for him.
Mm-hmm. Now they pick up a gem on Ogre. This is something that we heavily emphasized on the last game that they were lacking. This game, they seem to be very keen on wanting to take out the wards from Complexity, be able to see when a Moonlight Shadow goes on, and be able to fight properly.
Complexity,
in the river.
They get the high ground banished, but behind Sven is who's hunting for him under Moonlight Shadow, trying to sneak around. The charge comes through. They're isolating Arteezy. The relocate up onto the high ground, but Moo's waiting for him. Has the Lincoln Sphere to be able to back away without getting stunned, chain locked, and burst. So now relocate down. The IO is going to be going back just a little bit. Do Complexity converge? They have a charge ready. They're not confident at moving in.
They know all of EG is there, so they're very reluctant to really just like run into a five-man squad. Because even though they have very good farm on 4 heroes, it's still hard to fight into Panda ulti on a high ground spot.
They have scouted out the Roshan now, so cancel. He'll begin pushing in the bottom lane as he moved into the pit. Moo shoving out mid. Top lane already being pinged, and I think what we'll see here is just push all those lanes out and then hopefully try to take a Rosh. But EG, they're not going to give this up for free. They are all clustered around the pit.
Monkeys even goes for a Vlad's as well now, so giving his teammates some lifesteal potential and some more armor rather than going for a BKB for himself. Very selfless builds coming out from him. Except the Echo Saber. It's kind of selfish, but...
What do you think the Z Freak build is here? He's already grabbed a plate mail.
Lotus Orb.
Lotus Orb.
Yeah. Definitely a really good pickup for him. Obviously able to reflect the stun, remove Drunken Haze off his allies, and just, it's a very good defensive ability.
Omni Slash is...
Yeah, reflect Omni Slashes.
Is fun.
Yeah. He has an Aghanims too, so if he does reflect it, he gets the Aghanims bonus too, so he gets extra slashes. That'd be pretty funny to see, but...
That would be dope.
Some cool little interactions.
Complexity. No, thinking Roshan, but EG are in the neighborhood. See a Maelstrom on Sumail, so with the Bloodlust, tons of attack speed, lots of procs. This does ramp up his farm speed even further, and they look to move in from the low ground, though. Don't have the vision uphill. More than once we've seen them drop a ward right next to the shop and just leap in. That was a big play. They made a lot in Game 2. Not going to happen just yet. But Moo in position. Now they're going to start this off. They do manage to break his Lincoln Sphere. Chain stun and focus him down. Is he going to buy back and re-time-lapse into the fight? He will do so. Time-lapsing in from the rear. Immediately coming to work with the bugs. Brains down Zai. The charge on a crit. Focusing him down too. Brew never got off the split. Without his control, they might not have a chance in this fight, though. Sumail and Arteezy combining nicely. Diffusal Blade there. Now Sumail needs to run away. He gets purged. He's being focused. He purges off the purge. The counter purge, indeed. If only Kevin were guessing this game. Now Arteezy focused down. He will fall. That's 4. Great buyback there by Moo.
Yeah, that was excellent buyback there. They even knew that EG was there, but they didn't think that Moo would actually get like bursted in that like quick manner. And, yeah, look at that. Look at 1 gold. Okay.
-2 to -1. Everybody loses.
I've actually never seen something like that.
That's crazy.
Actually, super bizarre, but yeah, that was a sick buyback for Moo. And they even, obviously, like the reason that they win that fight so handily is because they isolate Universe as well and don't let him get that Panda split off. I didn't really see what happened. Maybe did he get arrowed?
The Brew?
Or did he just get Spirit? Okay, Spirit Breaker is pretty much on top of him in the area, so I think he probably just got like locked down from Spirit Breaker, charge and ultimate, and then just got bursted down by the Mirana and the OD. Speaking
of that Mirana, Lotus Orb now complete on Z Freak. So harder and harder to...
So we're going to see what happened here. So he does get arrowed. Okay, and then he gets charged up and just gets completely isolated and bursted down by Cancel and the other two. And beautiful ultimate on top from Cancel.
Arteezy gets completely kited. Really good overgrowth by Swindles. And unfortunately, when you start the fight on Weaver, that's probably one of the worst heroes to start a fight on if he has buyback and is willing to commit it, because he can just instantly rejoin the fight. The buyback time-lapse play.
Yep.
So they got the benefit of the swarm, they committed a lot just to break the Lincoln Sphere, and then kill him as coL will move in. This is going to prompt a Bruce split. They better get something done with this crit. Tanking the bugs now, the charge through by Monkeys. Great way to deal with those Panda aspects. So far being largely negated in this fight. coL now moving forward, moves in pretty deep. Now got a time lapse back out. Arteezy's blowing the God Strength, has the BKB. The God Strength still quite a bit of time left on it. Omni Slash coming through, not getting a heck of a lot as they overgrow through this. Leaping forward with Z-Freak, but the BKB now committed. Good patience by Arteezy. Wants to bring down coL, but again, the kiting of the Astral friggin' Imprisonment. He survives this, they get 3 more kills, and they're going high ground. There's no BKB on Sven, there's no Brewmaster split, there's no God Strength, and then they're -3 heroes. So basically, it's a 5v0 right now. This is going to be at least 1 lane, Yannis, maybe more.
Yeah, definitely at least 1. They can maybe even make the move to the bottom lane to at least get a tower, but going for 2 racks might be a little bit greedy, but they could maybe do it. Does sumail have buyback? He does not. Does Ogre no? Wisp? No. No one actually has buyback. They might just have to force one of their heroes to just go and die and then just buy back afterwards to make sure they don't lose 2 Raxes, because this 2 Raxes is pretty hard to come back from.
Well, everyone counted out complexity, I think, or at least the vast majority. Certainly you and I didn't have a whole lot of faith in them. Even after game 2, you just look at EG's results and have to say they're favored. But complexity, battling back, great adjustments in the draft. The OD has been massive for them in both of these games. This game, they haven't won yet, but it is looking real bleak for EG.
Yeah, Cancel and Moo both like having great position in these fights, but Z-Freak's arrows have been on point this game, landing pretty much all of them on crucial targets in the situations when they need him to.
And they do have really good setup for him as well, so a lot of it is credit to the lineup they have to combine with around the Astral.
Absolutely.
Charge, into an Astral, into an arrow. Pretty much any order you can use these spells as long as you time it properly.
Yeah, in the last engagement, like sumail tried to get a tried to get Omni Slash off, but ended up just like bouncing and hitting almost nobody.
That's the thing with the Spirit Breaker, is you have to worry about getting just auto attack down, even when you're spinning. And that pick has been big as well, with the charge just largely negating spin, kiting even the Brewmaster split, just bashing 3-4 of them on the way through, and then of course the Sven being controlled largely by that.
Monkeys, you're in a spot where you might just go down here. They have the Moonlight Shadow. Do they have detection for him? They do. They have a Dust on Zai.
One last swing of that hammer will get the kill. Just a bit too quick to die, or they could have turned, but coL's going to set up. They have buyback on Spirit Breaker. Arrow coming through. Long duration stun on probably the least important hero at this stage. sumail just sees this, and he comes rushing in. Swindle's there. Hanging back for now. They're going to commit a lot onto this OD. Buyback now for the Spirit Breaker as Moo's being focused, but he's just going to time-lapse it off. Lives for now, and they get the Lotus Orb reflected stun, but Arteezy BKB's to dodge it. Then the Overgrowth comes through, gets to work with that big hammer. Moo doesn't have time-lapse, has to be careful. Being focused, chain stun, brought down by the crits. That's a dieback on the Spirit Breaker. Now they can look for a 3rd kill. They've also set up the Weaver, who doesn't have buyback. They've gotten 1 lane, but they've got to be careful not to give up 1 in turn. Z-Freak with the Lotus Orb used defensively, and now focusing on the OD. They bring him down. Or actually, no, he survived for the time being. That's the Aegis. Now they bring him down. But can they kill him a 2nd time? That's the question. Chifa's guard committed. Swindle's coming back into the fray. Drops the hammer. Unloads it. Not enough just yet, but the living armor, the Lotus Orb, the pushback. He's still surviving.
Still alive.
It's
oh
a
my
triple.
God.
It's an ultra kill. OD devours all. GG.
And they just called it GG. That was sick plays by Universe in that fight too. He threw cancel up like I think 2 or 3 times with the Panda Spirits, but just too much on complexity. This buyback from Monkeys, even though he just flew in and died, this OD combo with the tree, Overgrowth's on top of Z-Freak's positioning in the fight's like, wow. Complexity?
It's happening. Team Hog.
That was really big, honestly. Like, after their devastating loss in the first game to that Alchemist, them being able to bring it back, having such fortitude